Hey, good evening, everybody. How are you? This is Freddie Ewan, three-time GM of the Year, 2022 Pantheon Cup champion, the 2024 Pantheon Cup runner-up. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Monday. Boy, football is back, baby. If you didn't get that from week one or week two, you definitely got it in week three. It was some super, super exciting games yesterday. A lot of big upsets, a lot of games that went down to the wire. A lot of injuries in fantasy football. We're going to get to talk about all those injuries. A couple guys are going to have to need to step up. We're going to talk about narcissism trades, what narcissists do when they make a trade in fantasy football. I'm going to give you a couple examples of some, and we're going to get right to it. The first thing that I want to talk about too is this is a fantasy football show, but I live in the Washington, D.C. area, and I am a million times over blessed that I have made some of the most wonderful friends down here. Unfortunately, most of them are Redskins, Commander, Washington football team, whatever you want to call them. And we're friends usually 8 months out of the year. And, the 4 months they hate me because they know I'm a big Eagle fan. And pretty much, yesterday was an exciting game for the Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles were down big. This was a game I did not think the Eagles did had a very good chance of winning this game coming in. I know that the Rams played the Eagles very well in the playoffs last year. I think a lot of people forget how well the Rams played the Eagles in the playoffs last year because we just blew the Super Bowl out and blew the NFC Championship game out. But the Rams were a drive away from winning that game. And in the game where Barkley had those two breakout runs, the second half was in the snow, and but Stafford brought it down to the end, and all they needed to get into the end zone. And of course, Jalen Carter made some big plays in the game last year in the playoff game last year, and I think the Rams came in with the chip on their shoulder. Everyone's saying Stafford speed up. Puka might be the best wide receiver in the NFL right now. Adams is playing well, and I think that McVay's still a phenomenal coach. The guy's a Super Bowl champion. I think that they came out and they wanted to give it to the Eagles, and they pretty much did that. And the Eagles just really stuck there. I don't think you're going to see really in the beginning of the year. This is how a lot of these teams work. The Eagles have had some tough teams, minus the Cowboys. But they played two tough teams. They played the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, and we played home against the Rams. We have to go into Tampa Bay. There's going to be some tough games, and we're not going 16-0. So it's big win last night for the Eagles. But I just want to share. Let me see if I can figure out how to share my screen because I just want to share a couple things with you guys while we get going. Here it is right here. Here is my shared screen and just a couple of texts that I had to endure yesterday while we were in the beginning of the game. You can see right here. What's the score of the Eagles game? I'm glad you asked. They're getting rammed by LA 16-7. And then my other buddy goes, oh, 19-7. Whoa. And let me see if I can bring up this next test. This is the test that got me going nuts for some reason because I don't know, Dougie. I love Doug, but Dougie can just drive me nuts sometimes. Let me just bring this bad boy up too. Oh no, embarrassing beatdown in Philadelphia, 26-7. So these are the things that I have to endure every time the Eagles are losing. But anyway, just wanted to share this with you guys. Final score 33-26. Eagles win. Jordan Davis and covered, believe it or not. Enough about the Eagles. Let's talk about fantasy football. A lot of things happening, a lot of big injuries happening. Let me talk first a little bit about this guy. Let's bring him up. CD Lamb. Uh, I'm in a guillotine league, which I am now out of. I'm against CD in two games, which I might actually lose. I might still lose these two games where I'm playing against CD. That's how bad one of my teams is in the TPFFKL actually, and then this other one in the John Galt League where we're playing a team that just has everybody and just didn't put in the right guys yesterday. But CD right here is obviously he's going to be out 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know exactly what you're going to do with this. I think Pickens is going to get a lot more targets. I think Ferguson is going to get a lot more targets. Lamb is going to be back. It's a high ankle injury. It happens all the time. So he's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. If you are a Lamb owner, um, you're probably going to have to find someone off the bench, a flyer that's going to have to take his place for the next 3 or 4 weeks. It's going to be it's going to be a tough 3 or 4 weeks going without him because Lamb has been playing really good. The Dallas defense is awful too. The Dallas has the worst defense in the NFL by far. They got the worst defensive coordinator. Dallas defense is absolutely awful. So you know that Dak is going to be throwing that ball. Pickens owners should be really happy right now because Pickens is going to get a lot of opportunities. Like I said, Ferguson I think is still available in a lot of leagues too if you can grab him. Kamante Turpin is another guy that I like. He's a guy that I'm going to try to pick up in a couple leagues where I have Lamb. Not a bad idea to kind of get somebody. Like I said, Dallas is going to be giving up a lot of points. They're going to be slinging the ball up and down. The only, the offense has been a bright side. Lamb has played good. Pickens played, good the other day. They didn't, not too much yesterday, but like I said, I still think Dallas can score a lot of points. Jamal Williams has been unbelievable as a running back. I mean, this guy didn't do anything in Denver. Everyone was waiting for it to happen, and he's doing excellent on Dallas. Another big injury that let me find it. This is a big injury, and I got really lucky in a lot of leagues because I took Trey Benson in a lot of best ball leagues. I thought Trey Benson was going to get a good time share this year, regardless of Connor. Connor is out for the year. He is done. I think the cardio is going to be the backup, but Benson is a second round pick last year. He's really going to get an opportunity, and I think Trey Benson is a really, really good player. Everyone thinks I don't know where some of these, ESPN people say, oh, here's your waiver wire pickup of the week. Anywhere you go, Benson is taken. I mean, I don't think anyone is and drafted, not picked up on the waivers earlier. I actually picked him up in one league earlier, but it's the John Galt league where, no one really knows what they're doing. But they have a lot of money, so that's all that matters. But Benson is going to be, he's going to get the opportunity, and I think he's going to be really good. So if you got Trey Benson, you are in really good shape. You pretty much got yourself an RB1 right now. God, this has been really tough. This has been really tough because I know that there's a lot of teams, there's a lot of people who have drafted all around this guy. Chase was the first pick in the draft. The Bengals offense was absolutely awful yesterday. Absolutely awful. The Vikings just beat the crap out of them. Browning looked horrible. Joe Burrow's not out for the season, guys. Joe Burrow's only going to be out a few more weeks. Let's remember here, this is a long season. We are just through week 3. There's 11 more games in the fantasy football season. Joe Burrow should be back by week 6, 7. Cincinnati's going to be right back there. Jamar Chase is still the best wide receiver in the NFL. It helps when you have a guy like Joe Burrow throwing it to you. Look at Jerry Rice and Joe Montana. Look at Troy Aikman and Michael Irving. It helps when you have someone throwing it to you. And this guy, this quarterback on the Bengals right now is not really it. People are yelling at the Bengals to go get Kirk Cousins right now. But like I said, Joe Burrow's going to be back this year. Bengals owners, stay patient. Try to win some games out early. Going to be tough to do. You got to find a different quarterback besides Browning, though. Browning is not going to be a viable fantasy football starter. We thought he was a little bit earlier, but the guy's cooked. And Minnesota has a great defense too, not taking anything away from the Minnesota defense, but Browning was awful. Everyone's talking about the Colts, and I don't have any Colts on here, but I just want to let you know the Colts have been phenomenal. I mean, they have been phenomenal. If the season was going to end today, Danny Dimes would be the MVP right now if the season would end today, which is nuts. But Colts players, Jonathan Taylor, big game yesterday. I'll take Colts players any day of the week and play them right now because they've just been on fire. Quentin Johnson, Keenan Allen are red hot. Keenan Allen, he was on the Bears last year where he did not play that great, but he's been so consistent when he's been on the Chargers before, and him going back to the Chargers has just been great. Justin Herbert right now is having a career year. Just found out that Najee Harris is out. Omar Hampton is going to get a big opportunity there. Quentin Johnson Johnson has been like, unbelievable. Finding these guys left and right. Johnson's averaging 4.7 yards, catch, 80 yards, and a touchdown through 3 games. Keenan is averaging 6 catches, at least 60 yards, and a touchdown. McConkey right now is the third receiver on that team compared to Quentin and Keenan Allen, which is, Keenan Allen's just always got it done. He's just always got it done. And, him going back to the Chargers was really the best situation that I'm shocked that he's doing this well, and he probably won't be this consistent throughout the year. But you got to ride these two guys while you still can. So if you got these guys, you got to ride their hot hand. Um, Oh, injuries are no fun, but let's talk about another injury. We don't know the exact story, which is going to go on with this guy. I do not think it's too serious. I think he might miss a game or two, but then again, this is a veteran wide receiver. He's a little bit older. Um, Evans has a hamstring injury. His hammies are never that good. Emeka right now is looking like the offensive rookie of the year. He's played phenomenal. Godwin is going to come back if he's out for an extended period of time. I don't know exactly when Godwin is coming back, but let's not forget, Godwin has missed so much time, but let's not forget how phenomenal he was in his first 2 or 3 games last year before he got injured. So if you can, I'm sure a lot of people have Godwin on their team on the injured reserve right now, but if you're an Evans owner and you can find Godwin, pick him up, put him on your IR and hold on to him and see what they're going to do, especially if you have Mayfield too, if you have him hooked up. Like I said, I think this is going to be really good for Emeka. I think the guy's playing great. Kate Allen's another guy to keep an eye on. I don't really know who their, besides those 3 receivers now that McMillan's out for the year, who really their fifth, sixth guy is. But like I said, I don't think Evans is going to be out that long, but this is something to keep an eye on. How it affects Mayfield, we'll see. They have the Eagles next week too, another tough game for Tampa Bay. Luckily, they're going to be at home, and Tampa Bay always plays the Eagles really, really good too. Oh, let's get to this guy. This guy has been like, yesterday was lights out. Excellent. Everyone's talking about the Cleveland Browns backfield quarterback situation all over the place. Junkins was, uh, he was either the third or fourth overall rookie picked. He was picked early in the second round. And he had that issue, he had some kind of personal issue or something, and issue signing with the Browns early on. Jerome Ford, there was another guy, I forget the guy's name, but Judkins is going to be the man. He's got a lot of talent, keeps it together. He is going to be the guy taking over the Browns backfield. If you picked him up, and I passed on him in a lot of best ball leagues because I was like, this guy's, a head case, and he still could be, still very could be, but this guy has a tremendous amount of talent. If you have this guy, you are in really good hands right now, because I think that he's just going to get better and better as the year goes on, as it really works with rookie running backs. Everyone's looking at Genty right now. Genty's going to be fine. If Raiders don't have a good offensive line, but Genty's going to be fine. He's just too talented. These rookies take a little while to get going. Look at what Hampton did yesterday. Huge game by Hampton. God, this 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 has been a frustrating fan, unless you have Jalen Hurts as quarterback right now. The Eagles have been really frustrating. Saquon Barkley has not really done anything. It's very hard to repeat what he did last year. He had, over 2,000 yards last year. He's an older back. You saw what Derrick Henry did in week 1 and then came out and pretty much had a donut in week 2. I think Barkley's going to have some big games here and there, but he's not going to be nearly consistent as last year. The Eagles don't, they have another new offensive coordinator now that their offensive coordinator last year is the head coach of the Saints. So I think that the Eagles are still trying to figure themselves on offense a little bit. Jalen Hurts is the guy to hold on to. A.J. Brown finally came out yesterday. He had 10 targets, 6 catches, 109 yards, most of those in the second half. Smitty had a good game as well. Like I said, Eagles are going to be fine. I think any of these guys is going to be a much almost a must start every week, but I still think the best guy in the offense to have right now is Jalen Hurts because Hurts is going to get, he put the ball in the air, scored a bunch of points yesterday. But, you look at the two games before that when there was not a lot of passing yards at all from the Eagles. Jalen Hurts knows how to get in the end zone. Whether it's running or passing, Jalen Hurts can get in the end zone. Um, This guy I picked up in a bunch of best ball leagues. I'm happy I did. I didn't pick him up in a lot of fantasy leagues. My man Joe Mo got him though in one league. Tyrone Tracy Skeetabo. So here's the thing about Skeetabo. Skeetabo is I think he is the only player. There's some stat line that he had in college where he's the only guy to have, I think, 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in college since McCaffrey. Skeeta Boat is going to be a beast. Offense is horrible. Russell Wilson is awful. I think they should put Jameis Winston in there, let him throw the ball. But if you're a Skeeta Boat owner, Tyrone Tracy wasn't that good to begin with. He's got a busted up shoulder. Skeeta Boat is going to be something else. I got him. I think I got him in one league actually. So I'm excited to have him. I'm excited to put him in there. He's going to get a lot of touches. This guy's going to do something with the Giants. Um, you know, a lot of guys, a lot of veteran guys getting hurt, a lot of rookie guys stepping up, which is what you love about fantasy football. Before I leave you, big game tonight. I know that there's a lot on the line for a lot of teams. I'm closing in on a couple ones. I got a couple tough got a couple games up in the air tonight, whether I can win or not. I think I got I'm a 6-1 dog to beat my man cousin Pat right now in the TPFFKL, but it should be an exciting game. The Ravens and Lions, and it's going to decide a lot of fantasy football today, which is how exciting it is on Monday night. But let me just talk to you something a little bit about narcissism trades and how it happens. Guys get hurt in fantasy football. Guys get hurt in fantasy football all the time. No one puts in, if you're going to play fantasy football, you really have to be active all the time. You have to be looking for trades and looking for, free agents to find off the bench, guys to find off the bench that are going to be good a few weeks from now, but it's like you really got to keep active. You really got to talk and you really got to make trades if you're going to win a fantasy football league. And be a consistent winner about it. But let me just talk to you about narcissism trades. This is a $500 league that I'm in, and it's not a cheap league. So I think that anyone who's playing $500, not all the time, but I think that anyone who's paying $500 in a fantasy league has to have a little idea of what they're doing sometimes. And this guy's obviously a good fantasy football player. He knows this, he's 2-0 right now. He's got a strong squad. He's got a couple injuries. He has Jane Daniels who didn't play yesterday. He was able to get Daniel Jones, put Jones in. He's got Bijan Robinson. So his second running back is James Conner. So the guys on the line, saying he needs a running back, which is the right thing to do on the chat group. So it's probably like 11 o'clock at night last night, and I start getting these trade requests on it. And I'm thinking to myself, like this dude is like just looking at my team and sending his bench players. Like he's looking at my team and sending his bench players to me. Um, one was I think no, one Tillman. All right. So one of them was Tillman. He wanted to trade me Tillman for I think Trevon Henderson. Oh no, Tillman for Trey Benson. That's what I wanted to do. The two wide receivers, and this was before we knew Lamb was going to be out multiple weeks, but I have Lamb and Puka as my wide receiver. So I don't need Charles Tillman, dude. I'll keep Trey Benson. Just like he didn't even look at any need that I want. He's just saying, I need a running back. I need a running back. I'm going to take anyone off my bench and I'm going to try to send them over to you. And maybe you're some moron or something and you're going to accept it. Um, narcissism trades happen all the time in fantasy football. And I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I actually used to make them. There was a while ago where I used to make narcissism trades, so I understand. But it's like sending these, just sending guys off his bench. The other one he offered to send me was um he offered to send me let's see Oh, Rasheed Rice. Okay, you wanted to send me Rasheed Rice, who's still out for 3 weeks. All right, and was injured most of the year before. He's suspended for 3 weeks and injured the year before. And Dylan Sampson, who is now like maybe third on the depth chart in the Cleveland office. So he sent me Rasheed Rice and Dylan Sampson for a Marion Hampton. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you really think I'm going to look at this trade and say, oh, wow. I mean, can I make, please, how did I get so lucky? You want to make a good trade in fantasy football, you're going to have to give something up, especially if you are hurting. If you are hurting for something, if you are hurting for a quarterback, if you are hurting for a running back, someone gets injured, you're going to have to give up somebody up. You're going to have to give one of your better players up. And the best thing you can do is you have to find a need. You have to look at somebody and say, okay, all right, this guy has some running backs, but his wide receiver just got hurt. And you're always going to have to, like, if you're looking to trade, Hampton finally had a breakout game, especially after he had a breakout game. You want to trade me, the third string on the Browns and Rasheed Rice for him? you know, and you have to find someone else's need to fulfill your need. You have to give to get. That's how trades happen. You can't just offer shit and feel like, you're going to get something back. But it's like I see people make these trades all the time. And I used to make them a long time ago. I used to make them. So that's from my man, Matty Flex. But we did get a trade done today. I did send Matty a trade, which, put it all in the computer, improves my team, improves his team. We're both happy about it. I sent it to him and worked out. But yeah, narcissism trades, please stay away from narcissism trades. Anyway, everyone enjoy the game tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think a lot better than last night with the most boring game in the world, unwatchable, the New York Giants and Kansas City Chiefs. Tonight, hopefully, it'll be an explosion. I got my big league. I got Jamal Williams. I'm 20 points ahead. I got Jamal Williams. He's got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. So hoping for a Williams breaks one or two and we win the game or something. That would be really exciting. Anyway, do not forget to like and subscribe. My name is Freddie Ewan. Have a great Monday, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys.